everyone, guess what? This is the 50th video of this channel. Today we'll be diving into a very crucial health topic or very crucial health condition which has become very common nowadays worldwide. That is hypertension, also known as high BP. This video is going to be a little longer because hypertension is itself a very vast topic. And in this video I'll be sharing with you or I'll be telling you about what is hypertension, the stages of hypertension, types of hypertension, the risk factors, symptoms, diagnosis, complication, prevention and management, and also 10 myths about hypertension and recent trends in hypertension. So let's begin. The normal blood pressure of a person is 120 over 80 mm of mercury. 120 is a systolic measure and 80 is a diastolic measure. If the reading reads more than 140 over 90 mm of mercury consistently, then it can be diagnosed as hypertension. So it is usually called the silent killer because it does not show or it doesn't come up with many symptoms, but it can lead to serious health conditions. It is a condition where the force of blood against the wall of the arteries is consistently too high. Coming to the stages of hypertension, the normal blood pressure is 120 over 80 mm of mercury, and it is elevated when the systolic is 120 to 129 and diastolic is less than 80. Stage 1 hypertension is when the systolic is 130 to 139 and the diastolic is 80 to 89. Stage 2 is when the systolic is 140 or higher and the diastolic is 90 or higher. And hypertensive crisis occurs when the systolic is more than 180 and the diastolic is higher than 120. Coming to the types of hypertension, first one is primary, also known as essential hypertension. So in this type, the cause is actually not known and it's the most common type. It develops gradually over the years and there is no identifiable cause. And the second one is secondary hypertension. Here the cause is known. So the hypertension occurs because of some underlying disease in the body. It can be kidney disease or disease of the adrenal gland, thyroid disorders, or congenital defects, or even diabetes mellitus can lead to the development of hypertension. Third one is white coat hypertension. So as the name suggests, when a person comes to a clinical setting or maybe when a person sees a doctor, then the BP shows a higher reading, whereas at home the BP shows a normal reading. So this is called as white coat hypertension. That is, only when he comes to a doctor the BP is high, but otherwise or when he is at home the BP is normal. And fourth one is masked hypertension. This is exact opposite of white coat hypertension. Here when the person comes to a doctor or any clinical setting, the BP shows a normal reading, but whereas when he is at home, then the BP shows a higher reading. So this is called as masked hypertension. Coming to the risk factor of developing hypertension, the risk factor is divided into modifiable and non-modifiable type. Modifiable is the person can modify these risk factors in order to prevent from developing hypertension, whereas non-modifiable is they are inevitable. Under modifiable type, first one is diet. Diet which is low in sodium and which is rich in potassium, calcium and magnesium, because potassium levels are important to maintain the levels of sodium in the cells. And also avoid food which is rich in fat, calorie and sugar. Second one is physical inactivity. It can lead to weight gain and hence increasing the risk to develop hypertension. Third one is obesity. Fourth one is alcohol consumption. Fifth one is tobacco use. Tobacco can damage the blood vessel, hence increasing the risk to develop hypertension. Sixth one is stress. High levels of stress can raise the BP temporarily, but chronic stress can also lead to the development of hypertension in the long run. Seventh one is poor sleep patterns. Maybe reduced sleep or reduced quality or poor quality of sleep or any kind of sleep disorders can predispose a person to develop hypertension. Eighth one is medication and substance abuse. Use of over-the-counter prescriptions such as non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, decongestant, painkillers, oral contraceptive pills, antidepressants can increase the BP, and also substance abuse such as cocaine or any drug abuse can raise the blood pressure. Coming to the non-modifiable factors, first one is age. So as the age increases, the flexibility of the blood vessel is lost, hence increasing the risk to develop hypertension. Second one is family history. So the blood pressure or hypertension runs in the family. So if your family members, maybe your parents or grandparents are having hypertension, then you are at a higher risk to develop hypertension. Third one is race or ethnicity. Fourth one is gender. Men are at higher risk to develop hypertension before the age of 55 years, whereas female are at a higher risk to develop hypertension after their menopause. Fifth one is chronic conditions such as diabetes or any kind of kidney disease can increase the risk to develop hypertension. So, what are the symptoms of hypertension? As I have mentioned earlier, it is a silent killer. So, usually a person will not know that he is having hypertension because there are no much symptoms as such which can indicate that he is having hypertension. But occasionally there are symptoms which is seen, and I'll be listing them now. First one is headache. Headache which occurs suddenly and it is very severe. Second one is severe anxiety. Third one is shortness of breath. So a person finds it difficult to breathe, especially when he is doing any activity, maybe physical activity, or when he is lying down. Fourth one is nosebleed. So there is frequent and severe nosebleed, which can be a symptom of high blood pressure. Fifth one is dizziness or lightheadedness. Sixth one is chest pain. It can be a symptom of heart disease which is due to hypertension. Seventh one is visual changes, mainly blur vision or seeing some spots before the eyes can be a symptoms of high blood pressure. Eighth one is blood in the urine. It is mainly because of damage of kidney because of high BP. Ninth one is hypertensive crisis. As I've already mentioned before, it occurs when the BP shoots up above or more than 180 over 120 mm of mercury, and it can lead to even stroke. How to diagnose hypertension? Main thing is regular BP monitoring, and for this we can use ambulatory BP monitoring, which is a device which reads blood pressure levels over 24 hours at regular intervals. So this will give us a cumulative reading of blood pressure in a day, and this is very important to detect the masked hypertension or white coat hypertension. And to detect any underlying cause, other tests such as blood test, urine test, ECG, echocardiogram, and imaging studies can be done. Coming to the complications or long-term effects of hypertension, first one is heart diseases. So it can lead to cardiac disease or heart attack, heart failure, myocardial infarction, arrhythmia, and sudden cardiac death. Second one is stroke. Increased blood pressure can weaken or damage the blood vessels of the brain. Hence, it can lead to either burst out of the vessel or blockage in the vessel leading to stroke. Third one is kidney diseases. So again, the vessels of the kidney gets damaged, hence leading to kidney failure. Fourth one is vision loss. Damage to the arteries of retina can lead to hypertensive retinopathy and eventually lead to vision loss. Fifth one is peripheral artery disease. Reduced blood flow to the extremities can lead to symptoms such as pain and difficulty in mobility. Fifth one is neurological complication. Reduced blood supply to the brain can lead to cognitive impairment and also dementia. Seventh one is metabolic disease. It can lead to various metabolic disease such as heart disease, type 2 diabetes, or even stroke. Eighth one is bone loss. Increased blood pressure can lead to increased loss of calcium in the urine, hence reducing the bone density or making the bone weaker, leading to arthritic problems. Management of hypertension. First one is healthy diet, that is balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grain, lean protein, low fat dairy products, low salt, and increased intake of potassium. So the potassium rich food is banana, orange, potato, spinach, and tomato, and also limiting the use of alcohol and caffeine intake. To stop hypertension, there is something called as DASH diet, that is dietary approach to stop hypertension. And about DASH diet, I'll be talking in one of the shorts, so stay tuned for that. Second one is regular exercise and maintaining a healthy weight. Third one is quit smoking. It can improve the overall cardiovascular health. Fourth one is reduce stress. Adopt relaxation techniques to reduce stress. Fifth one is get adequate sleep. Sixth one is regular BP checkup is very important. Seventh one is managing underlying health condition. Eighth one is health education and awareness. You should know what is hypertension, the risk factors for it, the symptoms of it, and the preventive measures for hypertension. So now I'll be sharing with you 10 myths about hypertension. First one is hypertension always cause noticeable symptoms. As I have mentioned in the beginning that it is not so. It is called as silent killer, and usually there are no symptoms at all, so the person will not know that he is having hypertension. And because of this, regular BP monitoring or regular BP checkup is very important. Second one is young people don't need to worry about hypertension. This is also not true. The truth is hypertension can affect people of any age. It can affect even children, teenagers, and even young adults. So it mainly depends upon the family history and the lifestyle of a person. Third one is salt is the only dietary factor that affects BP. This is not true. The truth is, salt, of course, is a very important factor to develop hypertension. But along with that, there are certain food which I have mentioned in the risk factor, which can also lead to the development of hypertension. Fourth one is hypertension is not a big deal and it doesn't need treatment. The truth is hypertension is a serious problem, and if it is left untreated it can lead to major complications which I have already spoken about in the previous section of the video. So yeah, it needs treatment and it should be monitored every now and then. Fifth one is if you feel fine, you can stop taking BP medication. So I have seen a lot of patients, saying that they don't have or they don't experience any symptom of hypertension, and also they feel that their BP is under control, and without the doctor's advice they stop the hypertensive medication. This is not at all correct. So the truth is, again, if you feel fine, it doesn't mean that your blood pressure is under control. So as I told, it does not come with any symptom usually. So even if you feel fine, you cannot stop the BP medication without the advice of the doctor, because it can very well lead to complications. Sixth one is only overweight and obese people get hypertension. This is also not true. The truth is hypertension can affect people of any weight. So the weight is not a major factor which decides that if a person will get hypertension or no, because it mainly depends on genetics and the lifestyle and environmental factors, and not only the weight. Seventh one is hypertension is only a problem of a man. So this is also not true. The truth is, it can affect people of both the genders. Whereas I've already mentioned before, in male it usually occurs before the age of 55 years, and in female it usually occurs after the menopause. Eighth one is drinking coffee and other beverages causes hypertension. So drinking coffee or any caffeine products can temporarily rise the BP, but it alone cannot cause chronic hypertension. But people who are sensitive to caffeine and who have caffeine in a larger amount can experience increased or can experience significant increase in the blood pressure. Ninth one is if you don't add salt to your food, your sodium intake is low enough. The truth is if you don't add salt, that's okay. But if you go out and eat in restaurant, or maybe buy any processed food, then it contains a lot of salt. So you need to be careful in these area also. So when buying any product, check for the ingredients and check for the sodium levels, and then decide whether you have to have it or no. 10th one is stress is a cause of hypertension. So this is in a way true, but stress is not the only factor which can lead to hypertension, because everyone has stress. It doesn't mean that everyone will end up getting hypertension. So it is not only the stress but also other factors, that is genetic factor, the lifestyle and environmental factor decides that whether the person will get hypertension or not. Recent trends in hypertension. First one is rising prevalence. The cases of hypertension is rising significantly globally, and this is happening because of urbanization. That is, people are moving towards urban area, and again because of their poor lifestyle, food habits, lack of exercise, all these are contributing to develop hypertension, and also because of increasing of aging population, and again lifestyle changes, as I told, that is the dietary change and lack of exercise, sedentary life, more of stress, all these are contributing to a rising prevalence of hypertension. Second one is younger onset. Even the younger population are getting hypertension. So this is again because of the lifestyle, that is more screen time and less of physical activity, sedentary life, eating more of processed food, fast food, or sugary beverages. All these are contributing to develop hypertension even in the younger population. Even stress among youngsters, it could be academic stress or social stress, financial instability, all these can cause chronic stress, and thus it can be a factor along with the other factors which I have mentioned to develop hypertension. Third one is awareness and control. There is no much awareness among the people, regarding hypertension, because they don't experience any symptoms as such, and hence they will not come to know. And also, as I told, some people think that their BP is fine and they stop medicines. So control is also poor because they do not continue the medicines, and they discontinue it without the advice of the doctor. So this also is leading to increasing prevalence, and also, yeah, so awareness and control is somewhere lacking, and it is contributing to increased cases of hypertension. Fourth one is technological advancements. So there are wearable devices such as smartwatch, fitness trackers which can monitor the blood pressure, providing the BP values, and which can help them assess their BP values maybe throughout the day or in a certain period of time. And there are also mobile health apps where it helps to track the blood pressure, record the reading, and set medication reminder, and also to share the data with healthcare providers, hence improving self management, and hence a better outcome in treating hypertension. Fifth one is diet and lifestyle. Along with the medication, more emphasis is given on DASH diet, the lifestyle, and also increased physical activity. Sixth one is guideline update. So new diagnostic criterias and also new methods to cope up with hypertension is coming up, thus helping people to cope up with hypertension. So the goal is to enhance early detection, improve management, and reduce global burden of hypertension. That's it for today's video. I hope this was useful and informative. If it was, please share it with your friends and family, and do remember to subscribe to my channel and start your journey on being healthy. If you have any doubts or any questions, leave it in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.